Okay, so we're going to dive into something kind of incredible happening right now
Okay.
in the world of complex chronic illnesses. We're talking long COVID, long Lyme, MECFS, all of that.
Yeah.
Imagine a world where these conditions,
Okay.
they're not just managed, but like potentially cured.
Yeah, it's no longer a pipe dream, actually.
Wow.
A brand new research center in New York City is making waves.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing.
it is.
So the Cohen Center for Recovery from Complex Chronic Illnesses CoRE, they just opened their doors at Mount Sinai Hospital,
Mm.
and they're not just treating patients, but they're conducting clinical trials too.
Yeah, and you know what's really impressive? Their mission, like, it goes beyond just treating symptoms.
Right.
They really want to, like, unravel those underlying causes of these illnesses
Yeah.
and find some real lasting
And they've
solutions.
got some serious brain power behind this whole thing,
Yeah.
like leading the charge.
Yeah.
Dr. Amy Probel, renowned expert in long COVID, and she's CoRE scientific director.
And working right alongside her is Dr. David Putrino. He's CoRE's NASH family director, and he's bringing like a wealth of knowledge in rehabilitation and human performance,
Wow.
which you might think, why is that relevant? But it's all connected.
Okay.
Many of these conditions really, really impact daily life.
Totally.
So rehabilitation is key.
That's a great point. And get this, Dr. Pruill, she isn't just running CoRE,
Right.
but she's also the president of the Polybio Research Foundation.
Wow.
And they are deeply involved in supporting CoRE's research.
That's amazing.
So that really shows how dedicated they are to finding answers.
This partnership, by the way, between CoRE and Polybio is something to watch.
Really?
Yeah, it allows for a much more comprehensive approach, bridging that gap between the lab and like the patient's bedside,
That's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into it. What kind of like cutting edge research are they tackling at CoRE?
So 2 clinical trials right now are particularly interesting. One is really exploring repurposing HIV antiviral medication, but for long COVID treatment.
Wow.
So they're essentially looking into whether the way long COVID affects the immune system,
Yeah.
if it has similarities with HIV.
Interesting.
Because if it does, then existing HIV drugs could lead to some groundbreaking new treatment options.
That's amazing. Like it really shows how much potential there is for existing medications to have this whole new life.
Totally.
What's that other trial focused on?
So the second trial, they're investigating this enzyme called lumbrokinase,
Okay.
and it's thought to break down microclots.
I've heard about those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the tiny clots that are found in some people's long COVID and MECFS, right?
Exactly. And what's so groundbreaking about this research is if they can pinpoint how these microclots contribute to these illnesses, it opens up a whole new world for treatment and potentially even prevention.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
So it's not just about treating the symptoms, it's about understanding that root cause and then stopping it.
Precisely. And this focus on really getting to the bottom of things, it's a common thread
Right.
throughout all of their work.
That's amazing. It's really fascinating how CoRE is taking this like detective-like approach
Yeah.
to these illnesses.
Yeah.
You know,
Or-
it's like they're piecing together this giant puzzle.
It is. It is. And their commitment to understanding the patient, like the patient experience, it extends beyond the lab into like the design of the facility itself.
Oh, wow. So they've gone like above and beyond to create this space that really
They have.
caters to the needs of people with these conditions.
Yeah. So like they've installed these specialized air purifiers
Okay.
called HEPA filters, and they're throughout the whole center.
Wow.
They've also incorporated germicidal UV devices.
Wow. So they're taking extra precautions then to make sure the air is clean
Totally.
and safe for the patient.
Usually for patients that are more vulnerable to any infection. So
That's huge.
yeah, huge.
And it's not just the physical environment, right?
Yeah.
CoRE has also embraced this concept of, biophilic design.
Yeah.
I'll admit I was not familiar with that term before,
I love that.
but it sounds pretty cool.
It is.
What's that?
So it's this idea that by like incorporating these elements of nature
Okay.
into a space, it can have really, really positive therapeutic benefits.
Interesting.
So think like natural light and organic materials, even things like indoor plants. They've integrated all of this throughout the center.
So they're really creating this calming and healing atmosphere,
Yes.
which I imagine is crucial for anyone that's, dealing with a chronic illness.
Precisely. It's all about recognizing that, the healing process, it isn't just physical, right? It's mental, it's emotional as well.
Totally, yeah. And speaking of this holistic care, let's get into the actual treatment strategies
Yeah.
that they're using at CoRE. So what can you tell me about their kind of approach?
Well, they have this amazing specialized physical therapy team,
Okay.
and they are highly trained in autonomic rehabilitation.
Okay, break that down for me. What does that even mean?
Okay, so many people, right, with these complex illnesses, they experience disruptions to their autonomic nervous system.
Right.
And just so everyone's on the same page, that controls like your heart rate, blood pressure, digestion, all that fun stuff.
Okay.
So autonomic rehabilitation helps to like retrain and regulate that whole system.
So it's very specialized physical therapy that's like designed to address those very specific.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and to get a really comprehensive understanding of each person's autonomic nervous system, function,
Yeah.
they're using these really advanced assessment tools like tilt table testing
Okay.
and pseudomotor testing, which is really just measuring sweat production.
Wow. So it sounds like they're really pulling out all the stops to like personalized treatment plans for each person.
Yeah, they're really honed in on that.
What else kind of makes their approach different?
They're also addressing concurrent conditions, right? Things that like accompany these illnesses.
Right. So it's not just treating that one primary illness.
Oh, right, exactly.
It's looking at the whole person.
They're connecting the dots and like understanding how different conditions might be, related.
That's incredible. It's like they're leaving no stone unturned.
Yeah.
But what about chronic pain?
Yeah.
Because I know that's a major, major issue
Yeah.
for so many people with these conditions.
Big time.
How are they addressing that at CoRE?
They're exploring some really cool, innovative pain management options. Things like virtual reality therapy,
Oh, wow.
transcranial magnetic stimulation.
I've heard such amazing things about VR therapy.
It's amazing.
It's incredible how it can like trick your brain
Yeah.
into managing pain more effectively.
Totally, yeah. And it's really like a testament to the whole brain-body connection. And for those that are experiencing cognitive impairment, which can be a side effect, of these illnesses,
Yeah.
CoRE offers personalized cognitive rehabilitation programs.
Wow, so they really are covering all their bases.
They are.
It's incredible to think that all these services are like under one roof.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
But they don't stop there, do they?
They don't.
Because CoRE also has this strong emphasis on patient education.
You're absolutely right. They really recognize that knowledge is power, right?
Totally.
Especially when it comes to like managing your health.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they've taken a really interesting approach to making information, accessible to everyone.
Totally, yeah. And I think that's something that really stood out to me.
Yeah. What about it?
Well, it was the fact that they have a director of science communication,
Oh, wow.
which is Dr. Raven Baxter. And like
That's amazing.
all of the educational resources that Dr. Baxter is putting together, they're available for anyone,
Wow.
free of charge.
That's incredible, honestly, because like providing that free access, it empowers people, right?
Totally.
It empowers patients to really advocate for their own health. So,
Right.
and it also helps educate, doctors and the public.
Right.
It breaks down that stigma too, which I think is so important, and it just creates this better understanding of these
Logical.
really complicated illnesses,
It's like they're really saying, come on, everyone, let's like work together to solve this.
Yeah.
And that's such a nice change from that
Yeah.
really isolating experience that so many people have
For sure.
when they're dealing with a chronic illness.
And, that like proactive and holistic approach,
Yeah.
that's really what sets CoRE apart. They're not just trying to find this like magic bullet cure.
Yeah.
They're trying to revolutionize the entire experience
That's
for
right.
the patient.
It really does feel like CoRE is, like kicking off a new era
It does.
of treatment for complex chronic illnesses.
Yeah.
They've got this cutting edge research, but they're also pairing it with compassionate and like
Yes.
patient-centered care.
Which is so important.
So they're really offering hope to people who maybe thought there wasn't any left. So
Absolutely. And I think the exciting part here is that CoRE's model,
yeah.
it has the potential to have these far-reaching implications.
Yeah.
Like imagine what if this approach, this prioritizing research and holistic care and like really putting the patient first,
Yeah.
what if that became the standard for
Yeah.
how we treat other chronic illnesses too?
That's a great point.
Think about it, like conditions like chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, even
Yeah.
autoimmune diseases.
Totally.
We could see really similar breakthroughs potentially.
It's amazing, right? It's like by figuring out these complex illnesses,
Yeah.
we could unlock a future where chronic conditions aren't a life sentence.
Right, exactly.
They're just manageable.
Yeah,
Totally
totally.
agree.
It's a really powerful thought.
even curable, right? Which is amazing.
CoRE's work is about so much more than this one research center.
I know.
It's really about, like, challenging how we think about things and,
Right.
like, how we treat these illnesses.
Yeah.
It's a complete paradigm shift.
It's a story of hope. It's a story of innovation.
Totally.
And it's really a story of just, like, human resilience, you know?
Yeah.
And for anyone out there listening right now who's struggling with a complex chronic illness,
Right.
just know that you're not alone. And places like CoRE,
Yeah, they're fighting for you.
they're really fighting
Yeah,
for you.
see
They're
it?
looking for those answers.
They're working so hard to try to create a better future.
Absolutely.
And if anyone wants to learn more, all the information about CoRE and their research
Yeah.
and their amazing educational resources, it's on their website.
Amazing. Well, this has been such an amazing deep dive into the world of CoRE
It has.
and the future of, treatment for these illnesses.
For-
And honestly, it's a future that I am so excited to, see happen.
Me too. It's inspiring stuff.
It really is.